Call the Historical Commission to order, the time being,
7:34.
and I have to request, is there anybody taping this meeting other than Lakeville?
No.
There being none, we can proceed.
Want me to do my thing?
Okay.
I move that we change the order of business so that we can talk with our guest.
Okay, fine. Okay, somebody second that?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No one opposed. Motion passes. Okay, let's move on to our guest.
How are you, Mr. Reynolds?
I'm fine, I think.
I'm a pretty good friend of Mr. Reynolds at this point. I've met Jan. Is it Jan?
Joan.
I'm sorry? Oh, Joan. I've met Joan before. We're actually hiking around in the woods a little bit one day. I don't know if I've met the rest of you. I think maybe you were at the meeting.
We're at the selectmen's
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
Would you introduce your name?
My name is Daniel Kasiri.
Yes.
May I ask? Just so I can know whoever.
Okay, I'm Jerry Taylor.
It's nice to meet you
Nice to meet you.
again.
I'm Nancy LaFave.
Nancy, you're the one I'm emailing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and Joan, and
Gina Tracy.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Okay.
Joe.
Do you want to ask me questions, or do you want me to just say some words, or whatever, you know? I don't know how you generally conduct your
Well,
business.
why don't you just kind of like summarize the things that you would like to bring up, so that, there's people probably going to be listening to us, and they would probably want to know what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, I have been learning a lot about the John Sassamon story. I think it's a big part of Lakeville culture. I think it's a bit of a hidden part of Lakeville culture, and I am proposing a monument erected, not necessarily for a hero, but more so for the historical significance of that time and the conflicts that were going on at that time, and where we've come since then. I don't know if any of you have traveled abroad, or if you have, where you've been, but I've traveled quite a bit in Europe, and when you're over there, you can taste the culture. It is thick. You can feel it. And I think that while our culture is not as well known insofar as the writings that we have, in Lakeville, I mean, there is culture here, and I just want to promote that culture and be aware of that culture, because I think it's a culture that people are forgetting, and it's unfortunate because it is rich.
Okay, that's really good. And so the gist of it is to do a statue or some kind of honoring the people of that era.
Exactly.
And so
All the people of that era.
all the people, right?
Yes.
You know.
And I know you know that. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that for
but I
the
mean,
record.
because there's people, that don't go to the museum, and so, okay. So basically, just to summarize again, he is working on a project to honor the people of the King Philip War era. And the particular person that he would like to honor is John Sassamon, who, to make it quick, the story with John Sassamon is, the official story is that he was an Indian minister or preacher who lived at Betty's Neck in Lakeville, and in 1675, he was allegedly killed by 3 Native Americans, and his body was allegedly pushed under the ice of Assawamsett Pond. And 3 3 Indians were tried, convicted, and executed. And he has a long history before that. Namely, we first hear of John Sassaman about shortly after the Pilgrims arrived. He took an interest in the Christian religion. I think he was living up near Boston at the time.
He went to Harvard with
Yep, and then
Eliot, who was the missionary at that time.
Boston got settled, and he was educated at Harvard, and became a Christian minister. But in between and along the way, I think it's 39, there was the Pequot Indian War. And John Sassaman led the Wampanoag Native American contingent in the battle against the Pequot Indians. And without him leading the Wampanoags in the fight, they could have easily have lost that war. And so, he contributed a lot to the history of this area, and it's reasonable that he should be honored, and the other people of his era should be honored. In between and along the way, he was a minister. He was like the secretary to Massasoit and I think King Philip, because he could read and write, and he made out all their legal documents.
He's bilingual.
And
he was a translator.
Sorry?
He was a translator for
translator,
those
yes,
folks.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. So he is a really significant person to Lakeville history. He lived right in town. At the time, just before King Philip's War, he was the minister at the Praying Indian Meeting House at Betty's Neck. And
by the way, mention who Betty's Neck is named after.
well, why don't you? Because you probably could get a better wording than me.
His wife was Betty. She was Native American, but the
Assoweto?
English called her Betty.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I know you're right, but it didn't come to my mind just as until you said, okay. So he was married to Assoweto, and she is a descendant of Massasoit. There's quite a history there. And so I guess what we're here to discuss is how we can honor this person and the other people who lived in Lakeville at that time. Then there is another story. This is not the official story, this is the unofficial story. And that is that there were 2 Englishmen or colonists from Middleborough who killed John Sassaman because they owed him money. And they're the ones who killed him and pushed him under the ice. And the Indian that was on the hill that testified against them had seen the incident, but he was afraid of the English. And
Can I just pause you for a minute, if you don't mind? So Patuxent's on the hill. He was the main witness in the case. He witnessed the murder, or so he said, of the 3 Algonquins murdering John Sassaman. So that's who he's referencing. On the hill. Over in Heritage Hill, there used to be a hill that we called Shockley Hill, which the Native Americans called King Philip's Lookout. I know that I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, just for the sake of it, if anybody's listening or if this is being recorded, just so we're all on the same page. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point, yes. We still refer to it as King Philip's Lookout, even though it was taken down.
Right. Ironically, for a place called Heritage Hill.
Right,
Right.
yes.
Right.
So the alternate story is that two English men from Middleborough area killed John Sassaman over a debt that they owed him. And the Indian on the hill, whose name was?
Patuxent.
Patuxent, okay. He was afraid of the English, and so he testified against the 3 Indians that were convicted, and then he sort of just disappears from history. But we don't know what happened to him. It didn't sound good. Do you remember the names of the 3 Indians that were executed?
I can't remember their names, no.
One of them was Tobias, and his father, and well, not important tonight. So there's different parts of this story that other people know of, and we're still kind of putting it together. And the issue here is a statue of John Sassaman at the Fred Shaw Park in Lakeville. Which to me, okay, Fred Shaw was my father's uncle. And by tradition, he had an Indian ancestor named Mary Gooch. Now that's completely unprovable, but that's tradition.
You need to have your DNA done.
Hmm?
You need to have your DNA.
Well, actually I have, but I don't have a computer, so it didn't help any. I have to get a computer, do it again, within a few years. So that's what Dan is talking about, honoring John Sassaman.
And let me just add, after John Sassaman's murder trial, that murder trial was like something like the Aaron Hernandez case to us, or the O.J. Simpson case. It was really everybody was talking about it. And after the execution of those 3 defendants, that sparked King Philip's War. One of them fell to the ground. Let me back up a little. So there's 3 defendants, as Mr. Reynolds mentioned. It's the father and son and the 3rd guy. So the 3rd guy is hung, the father's hung. The son is going up to the gallows, put the noose on his neck, trapdoor opens, he falls, the rope snaps, he survives. He looks up and he's scared, and he confesses, we killed John Sassaman, and we did it because King Philip told us to do it. When that came out, and it was revealed that the motive for doing this was because John Sassaman went to the governor of Plymouth Colony to alert him about King Philip's plans to start a war in New England. King Philip, again, allegedly ordered John Sassaman to be killed. So, after the trial, that sparked King Philip's War. And I would like to stress that that was the bloodiest war in American history if you go by how many people were here at the time. More than the Civil War, more than World War II died. You had 20,000 Native Americans here at the beginning of that war in around 1675. By the middle of 1676, the end of the war, there were 7,000 natives here. That's almost 2/3 just gone, which is why, white folks or Englishmen of the time don't really like talking about that war anymore. And the natives don't really like talking about it because traditionally the oral history and the written histories that we have now say that King Philip actually ordered the murder of John Sassamon. So 400 years later now, while the rest of the country is tearing down monuments, I think it would be a powerful statement if we could get all cultures to come together to erect something that we can all be proud of. And I keep stressing, I'm not trying to say John Sassamon was a hero. He didn't do anything, I think, that you would call heroic. But he represents this duality. He is a Christian Native American. He lived in both worlds. And if we have a monument and we have people come together, we can determine what the narrative of that monument is going to be. Whether it's white folks, whether it's Native Americans, we will have a plaque there. And I want to hear the input that both cultures have. I don't want to do the monument if the natives don't want it, because that would be totally counterintuitive to the nature of what I want the monument to be, right? If this ends up being a thing where this is just a monument to white folks crafting the narrative again on top of Native folks, that is not something I want my name to be a part of. So when it comes to bringing people together, I can't do it by myself, and I'm kind of here because I need your help.
Well said. Okay, so anybody sitting here want to make any comments?
Well, I totally agree with you on the fact that if all groups can't agree, or if people are not interested in having something to that thing, that we need to be sensitive to that.
Well, it's like the Board of Selectmen told me when I went before them, we can't spend however many thousands of dollars on a monument where you're just going to have people camping out and protesting there every night and spray painting it. That wouldn't be, not only is it bad as a testament, it's bad business. It's not good to waste all that money for something that everybody hates, yeah. But I hope that I could convey that my personal intention is giving both sides an opportunity to give the narrative that they want. We can't write a whole book behind the monument, but we can have some well-worded statements. I don't know, 3 plaques, these are kind of the details we'll get to later, I guess, if we can get over the initial hurdles. But that's it. Yeah, I agree with that. We don't want to do it if everybody doesn't want it.
Right, and then you also had said that if this doesn't seem to be agreeable to everyone, there's a possibility you might be supporting other types of monuments that would honor the people of that era in different ways.
Right. Yeah, I'm open to that, and I'd like to hear suggestions on that. You named some obscure figures. I honestly didn't know who most of them were. Some Lakeville residents. I'm all for learning who they are. And some people recommended King Philip. I would visit that monument. That's just not a project I would be interested in. That would be, that's the opposite. Like if we did a Benjamin Church monument, like he was the guy that led the colonists.
Yeah.
That would be unfair to the Wampanoag. We have the King Philip. I really don't think that like little kids need to drive by that let's be honest, like Lakeville's mostly a white town. I don't want the little kids to be like, oh, that's that's the guy who wiped out all the white folks because we didn't get along. I just don't see that kind of a narrative that is towing the line between bringing people together. You bring up these, you know, if you built a King Philip monument, I would visit it and I wouldn't spray paint it, or it wouldn't offend me. But I don't think that would be the figure that would bring people together. I think that would be the opposite. Again, like from our perspective, like that would be like Benjamin Church or one of those guys. And again, if you built a Benjamin Church, I would visit that too. That's just not a project I personally am interested. Yeah, yeah.
I say, now you know several Wampanoags who come to visit at the museum. How do they feel about John Sassaman?
Well, see, the story that I got, that there were 2 English involved in the murder, you know, that has not been documented. I mean, it isn't in history. It's through a family tradition of somebody that lived in Lakeville. All right? And I haven't talked to him lately. Now, as far as the Native Americans go, I think, I can't really speak for them, but I think they've got to be approached and they've got to have input into this
They do.
Absolutely.
proposal.
Yeah.
And we got to be fair to everybody and respect everybody's culture. But, you know, personally, I have been in favor of a statue of a Native American in Lakeville for years, you know, and I don't see I would support a statue of John Sassaman or a plaque or whatever it takes to honor the people of that era.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical statue. It could be a monument that...
It could be. And there could be a series of plaques. Honoring the different people who are very significant to Lakeville's history, and, you know, contributed, you know, well, much to our history. And there's Benjamin Simon, who there is a gravestone monument at Thompson Hill Cemetery. You mentioned King Philip. You mentioned King Philip's Hill. Pamonta Squash lived on top of King Philip's Hill in the early years. He was the sachem of the Assawamsett tribe and the Damascus tribe in Middleborough. So, you know, there's an awful lot of history.
Also, our history is Middleborough's history until 1853.
Correct.
Our history is Middleborough's history until 1853, when we actually became Lakeville, so...
Well, yes, of course,
so
yeah.
it's the middle.
Yeah. And so, this is an ongoing project, and I think we need to get participation and input from the citizens of the town and from the Native American peoples, and keep the doors open. Is that reasonable?
Mm-hmm. One of our intentions is to contact the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which is in Boston.
Do the Native Americans, do they consider John Sassaman as a traitor to them?
Yeah,
They do?
the short answer, I would say they do.
We
And
had that as a direct quote, because
Yeah.
we had talked about doing this about 20 years ago, and it kind of stopped fast because of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a major contribution by the population alone, not just these individual people.
Right.
That, and there were some very influential women.
There were.
Yeah. So I mean, it's...
So do you see this as a physical statue of John Sassaman himself?
If I were...
Is that what your
like
vision
the king
is?
of Lakeville or something, that's what I would do if it were just up to me. again, I would, I'm open to, I'm just a guy. I'm open to, if all we can get is an obelisk, okay, but, I live in downtown Plymouth, and there's a lot of monuments, but there's really only a couple that are impressive if you don't know the story behind it. And one of them, I think, is Massasoit statue.
Oh, that's a beautiful statue.
That's just what I have in mind, and it's just a
That's a
dream.
really nice statue.
But that, I don't, like an obelisk is okay, I guess. It's not going to draw the masses to learn about it. But I lost my train of thought. I don't want some postmodern garbage. That's just not my style. I don't.
You're not interested in abstract?
Yeah. I want something that people can appreciate, something that will draw people, and it's aesthetically pleasing. Now, I don't think Lakeville's the kind of town that is into abstract art. I don't think that
don't think so.
would match
No.
the
No.
culture of
No.
the town. Some bent paper clipper, whatever they put up these days all around the world. But yeah, to answer your question, I would like to see something comparable to the Massasoit. Start there if I have to compromise, a little smaller. You don't like a person, all right, an obelisk, whatever.
But not your vision.
That's not my vision, yeah.
Okay, so, this is sort of where we, start and try and keep the doors open and get public opinion and input from the Native Americans, and so that everyone understands what's being considered here is to honor all the people who were involved in this major, crises of that time. And it all happened here in town, or a good part of it,
The beginning of the bloodiest war in American history.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Started in Lakeville. That's an amazing fact.
Yep.
That is
No,
an
it wasn't
amazing fact.
Lakeville then, it was
It wasn't Middleborough, though.
It was
Plymouth
Middlebury.
Colony.
Yeah.
So if you want to go with that.
And keeping in mind that Middleborough was part of Plymouth before.
That's what I just said, it was Plymouth
Right.
Colony, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
didn't Middleborough become a town in 1669?
Right, but up till that point, it was claimed by Plymouth.
1675.
They still called it Nauset in John Sassamon's time.
Sorry?
They still called it Nauset in John Sassamon's time.
Okay.
Whatever the official designation may have been by the town, I don't know. I'm sure that date was right, that's what
I
they
think
called
that's
it.
their incorporation or
Yeah.
Yes.
incorporated as a town or recognized as a town.
So anybody got any comments or,
Well, just that every year, Nancy and I go into the third grade class and we teach about slavery. We tell the story and we tell it as a story and not necessarily all we can base it on is the court writings,
Right.
and so we do mention to the children that that's how the people of that time saw it, and, we talk about how the way the natives were treated and how the colonists came and at first they were friends and then they,
Wanted
the
more
colonists
land. They wanted
kept
more
taking
land.
more land and how would you feel, if that happened to you? And we
Right.
kind of make it personal.
That's why when you talk to, say, a high school kid, John Sassamon? They'll go, I remember that name. I remember that name. It's probably because of you that you remember that. But,
We didn't have that.
No.
yeah, I think that it should be more than, oh yeah, I kind of remember that name for these kids growing up in Lakeville. I think it should be, yeah, let me tell you the story about John Sassamon. They should be able to tell me the story.
Right,
That's what I would like.
Yeah. Well, there is a street named Sassamon Circle,
Over
so.
on Heritage Hill.
It's in
yeah.
Heritage Hill, right,
So-
yeah.
I used to have a friend that lived on that street.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know what it was when I was, this was when I was like 12.
Uh-huh.
I'm 31 now, but I remember hearing that name when I was reading, as an adult, reading history books.
Mhm.
And I just started putting all these names, Sassamon Circle, Betty's Neck, like these
Yes.
weren't just names that they just pulled out of a hat. Like,
Right.
this is a really compelling story. And the fact that remember the one I told you about, the rope broke and the videos? And to Gaius and Schultz, their history of King Philip's War, they suggest that might have been a Puritan trick where they kind of severed the rope a little so that it would break, because at the time, if you survived an execution and confessed to the crime, the precedent was you would let that person go free. They killed him anyway, though.
They shot
Yes,
him.
they shot him
There,
later.
no good choices. Here's another interesting thing. I have actually been thinking about this. I want your opinion on this, right? When the Pilgrims came here, they got along pretty well with the Wampanoags. Would everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Because
Then-
they were a small number after the first year where so many people died. They needed the native, that was the only
Everybody
reason they
says that,
survived.
and nobody says this. When the Pilgrims came here, there had already been about 20 European ships that had sailed in or near Plymouth Harbor. And nobody mentions that the smallpox or whatever the plague was wiped out the Wampanoags. Right? Massasoit was the leader of a nation. He needed the Pilgrims too.
Yes. the
He needed the
Mayflower
Pilgrims
Compact.
too, because he was getting pressure from outside tribes. Everybody tells only, it's called consideration in contract law. Both parties benefit. And they got along famously. And Edward Winslow saved Massasoit's life by treating him when he was sick. And Edward Winslow and Massasoit were about as close as two men, forget race, as two men could be after that. And Massasoit warned the Pilgrims that over in Weymouth, where there was another settlement funded by Thomas Weston, who funded the Mayflower trip, there's another settlement that was causing trouble with not the Wampanoags, another
Was
tribe.
it the Massachusetts tribe?
It might have been the Massachusetts tribe. Anyway, Massasoit warned Edward Winslow that tribe was about to come attack the Pilgrims. And the Pilgrims preemptively went up there, and because they fought against that tribe and kind of took them off guard, the Pilgrims survived, and Massasoit survived. So this is a story of two people benefiting, but this is what I wanted to mention to you. You got this relationship between Winslow and Massasoit, again, best of friends. Both of them have sons. One of those sons, the son of Edward Winslow is Josiah Winslow, and the son of Massasoit is King Philip. And they hated each other. So what happened? What happened in that? Those two kids must have grown up knowing each other.
Of course, yes.
I can't find any dialogue, not dialogue, but written history of why that is.
No, nobody's ever explained that, no.
Because Josiah Winslow might be the worst governor in the history of the country with how he handled that Sassamon crisis.
Well, okay, the story that I've heard, that recently somebody had gone through the old records and they have found evidence that Josiah Winslow, who was the governor at the time of this incident,
Right.
he had ordered King Philip's brother Alexander to be poisoned. Now,
Right.
some servant of his or someone had allegedly poisoned Alexander, who was Metacomet?
Wamsutta.
Wamsutta, okay.
Metacomet was King Philip.
You're right, yes. And someone has, by going through old records, they have found documentation to that. So there is some documentation that things were going on in Plymouth Colony that were negative to the Native Americans.
Right. Yeah, I guess my question was, what would be the motive for him, for Josiah wanting to kill Wamsutta? Because there's obviously a lot of animosity between these two people whose fathers were such close friends.
Close.
I don't know, I can't find an answer to that.
Well,
This is kind of beyond the Sassamon one.
Well, I think part of the answer is that Josiah Winslow did not see anything but Christian people as being proper people,
Right.
you know, from his point of view.
Right.
And so he had no respect for the Native Americans.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it's kind of strange considering how well his father,
oh, it is, yes,
like
yes.
usually racists are sons of racists. You know what I mean? I don't see like where this thing happened.
Well, I think it's a matter of finances and land ownership
Yeah.
and expansion into other territories around the Wampanoag Nation, and it's economics.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe money took him over. Money and opportunity, maybe that changed him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sometime someone cheated the other one out of something, and it
Right.
just, you don't know really.
Right.
The
Yeah.
grudge.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody got any more input?
I have a question.
Okay.
What do I do next? I don't know what else.
Let me get in touch with somebody, and we'll keep working on this.
Yeah.
Okay?
After the first of the year,
Yeah, I mean,
in January sometime. So
Do
we'll
you
let you know.
have a phone number or an email that you don't want to say out loud now because you're
You
on
can take
tape?
it down on a piece of
I'm
paper.
the easiest person to find. If you Google my name, you find my
Okay.
business. And 508-400-0774, that's my cell phone. And my email is Daniel, I'll give you my personal email. Daniel J. Casiri, CASIERI @gmail.com.
At what? Gmail?
Yep. So Daniel J. Casiri @gmail.com. And that's it.
Okay.
Email me anytime. I always want to hear more about this.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you so
And
much
we'll
for
keep
having me.
moving
It was a
on this
pleasure
issue.
to talk to and meet with all of you. Thank you for having me.
And if you want to stay, you're welcome to stay.
If you want to go
But
home, we
it's a
understand.
long way to Plymouth.
I'm going to go back to Plymouth. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
At 8:12, I move that we go return to the normal order of business.
Okay. Motion, and then we need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed of the motion? Motion passes that we return to the order of business.
Should be a secretary's report from
The Secretary's
October
report.
17th.
I haven't read the minutes of the last meeting yet, sorry. I got a little busy here.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion accepted. Motion passes to accept the minutes of the last meeting. Treasurer's report.
Finally, the computers are all up and working, so I have two electric bills, $9.62 and $10.
Even?
Yes.
Wow.
And the balance for the historic townhouse is $4,480.38, of which $1,000 is for the water service. And then the historical commission account remains $500. And the Lakeville Educational Scholarship has accrued some interest, an average of $3.20 per month. Do you want it exact?
Total?
You want the total?
Yeah.
Okay, $3,000 is the non-expendable, and the expendable amount is $1,883.62.
I move we accept the treasurer's report as
I
presented.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Correspondence.
We have an agenda.
You do?
I have a list of correspondence.
Okay, correspondence?
Okay, emails regarding 202 Main Street, Elliott Farm Barn. FY 2020 5-year capital plan from the town office building. A Quiticus pond map from building inspector Nate Darling. Open meeting law training has been changed from December to Wednesday, January 23rd from 3 to 5 and 6 to 8, and it will be taking place here at the Lakeville Public Library.
Is this something required? Because I won't be here.
I'm sure that there's a way of you doing electronically.
Oh, okay.
Would you repeat that date and information?
Wednesday,
again?
January 23rd.
January 23rd,
3 to 5 and 6 to 8.
and it's open meeting law.
This was the one that was going to take place in October.
Yep.
And was changed to December and has been changed again to January.
And the hours are,
3 to 5 and 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
and do we know the day of the week?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And then, of course, the email from Kathleen tonight about poll business and historical commission business. And I've copied you the 5-year capital plan. It's in your packet. And the Quiticus map, a copy of Quiticus map. And the other thing that we have is a correspondence by way of the town office building from Joseph Walker, and it has to regard the residents of LeBaron Hills. And it's addressed to Brian, that on behalf of the residents of LeBaron Hills LLC, the Public Archaeological Laboratory, PAL, to conduct an intensive location archaeological survey of the Provose Residence Project in Lakeville at 194 and 196 Rhode Island Road. And they have received permit number 3873 to conduct the archaeological survey. And the field work was Tuesday, October 29th, and Friday, November 2nd, weather permitting. And they wish to notify us, the commission, of our impending survey and solicit the commission for any information on the site or other pertinent information they'd be willing to share. And we have a contact number for you to call, Brian.
So So it's already been done?
It's been done, but they haven't written up their report yet.
Okay, that's,
So you're the one with the most timely information. That
Right.
I assume that's the
do I have a
house.
copy of that here?
No, I'm giving it to you.
Oh, you're giving it to me now. Okay, so I should contact them and to see if there's anything that I can input or that we can input that helps in their completion of their report.
Right.
I will call them.
Anybody else have any correspondence? Move to
Are these the same people that were working on an archaeological dig concerning the rail trail?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. And it was a Rhode Island number.
I think they did the dig that was behind this library
Okay.
back in 2004, maybe.
Oh, okay, thank you. Moving on, unfinished business, long-range plans, projects, and area recognition. Anything new? We talked to Dan tonight.
That's area recognition.
Ongoing items, townhouse.
How's the ramp coming?
It's not been started yet, but it will be sometime.
In the spring or?
I think so. I think we have ground freezing and stuff like that, so it will be done before Memorial Day.
Okay, scholarship,
We haven't had no applications.
cemeteries.
Nothing new,
Nothing new?
no.
Lakeville Perspectives programs.
Nothing new at this time.
Did you see Diane Dupree died?
No.
It was in the paper a couple of weeks ago.
What paper was it?
The Standard Times on a Sunday, I
Oh
think.
my gosh.
Our old friend.
She did a great program with children on
Mm.
archaeological digs here.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
I went by the Lakeville Fire Department this evening, and I saw a TV camera crew.
Are we getting off topic right now?
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, you know.
Okay, there was a fire down across Grove, Nelson's Grove. There was a house fire down there.
Not Nelson's Grove, okay.
And there was help from, I believe, Rochester, Berkeley, maybe Middleborough. I'm not sure exactly what towns responded. So-
Okay,
So it's one of the
when
houses.
she said somebody died, I was concerned.
Well, we don't know if there was anyone at
Okay,
the house or not,
okay.
but that's what happened this afternoon.
Veterans Cannon, Honor Roll, and Bricks.
Okay, I think we need to do a review of Veterans Day.
Okay, go ahead.
Typically, when Veterans Day falls on a Sunday, we have done the program at 1 p.m. And it won't happen again for at least 7 years.
Right.
But I think it's something we might want to revisit now before we go forward, so in case things change on the board. And I wonder if we should just have it at 11, so that we're there for 11.
We probably should.
What
Instead
about
of
the
changing-
church?
At
That's
this
the
point, the
question.
church doesn't have a problem with that. They said they thought it would be an interesting addition to the service. So.
When is their service, 10?
It starts at 10. And it usually is over by
Around
11.
11.
So if we started at Dickren Durant, at Hitchcock,
Hitchcock.
like we always have, and just proceeded over, then usually by 11, we would be around, we could start earlier, we could start at 10 or something like that if we felt that it would take longer. Would depend on how many people you had to have speeches
I
and
know.
stuff.
One of the people, I was talking to some of the people that was standing at the, after the ceremony ended, and one of them said that he went to church on Sunday mornings, and he was only able to get there this time because it was at 1 o'clock. So, you know,
But that's only when it was on a Sunday, so once in 7 years.
Well, every 7 years.
If-
Right.
or
So,
Depending
I
on when
mean,
leap year falls and
um,
it could be 6 years.
I'd say let's just keep it open, and depending on what the public wants, we probably will go back to the
Frequently, the legislature or a rep who is representing us in parts of Middleborough, parts of us in Middleborough, they usually go to a program that Middleborough has, and I believe their parade started at 1 or something like that, or 2.
They didn't go to the
Two.
parade this year.
Hmm?
They didn't go to the parade this year.
No, I know, no one did come to our program. It's the first event that they've missed, but what I'm saying is that if we had it at 11, then
They
that's
could
not
still
the
go there,
They could go to
right.
both.
Right.
You know,
Which I think they've done in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, for Veterans Day. Memorial Day is different.
Yeah,
but
it
I
is.
mean,
right.
So there's a
So-
couple of reasons why it might make more sense to do it. Plus,
Right.
I like the fact that it's the
11,
only
11,
holiday
11.
that's celebrated on the exact date and the exact
Yeah,
time.
me too, I agree. It's
It's
not a Monday holiday.
Right.
and, you know,
Right.
I mean, I think it was a horrific war. They're all horrific.
And the meaning of the 11th day, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
Right,
Yeah, it's something that we
important.
haven't.
right. I mean, I think that's
To
important to
commemorate.
maintain.
And it was picked because of some other reason at the time.
The
I
11,
think
11, 11?
You know, there was some ancient tradition or something that caused them to pick that day and time. I can't now come out of my memory.
Oh,
Check that
it
out.
wasn't a treaty was signed or at the end of the
What
war.
was this, end of,
It might have been something that happened in a previous war, and they were commemorating that also,
we'll check that out.
Yes.
Somebody must know.
reminding the Germans of something in the past. Inventory.
I have a question.
Cemeteries.
Pictures still have to be black and white? Okay, because I'm going to have to take pictures of the cemeteries to go with the inventory. Okay,
And they have to be on a certain type of film.
okay.
Something like
Which is
that.
impossible to find now, so.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what they do.
I don't know,
Okay.
you
You might
know,
have to call.
yeah, we'd have to check that
And
out
if you
to
take
find it.
pictures and on a regular camera, on a digital camera, and you can get black and white pictures
Right,
printed,
but it would be the printing.
But it would be the
for
printing.
Archival material.
Okay.
For them, I think.
so I should contact
A lot of
Mass
ours are
Historical and find
photocopies.
out?
I would do that.
Okay.
Okay, 175th anniversary 2028. We've got only how many years left?
We only have, in 2019, we only have 9 years.
We've got to rush. Get ready for it. Index of history, 90% complete. Trip, it was kind of a cold day coming up, and so we've kind of rescheduled for the spring.
Is that the Paul Revere trip?
It was the
Yeah,
trip to
yeah.
the Paul Revere house,
Plus we're gonna be able to.
and it was
make
going to be a
it.
stormy day, I think. Native American statue, we've had Dan here tonight, and discuss that. Other workshops,
At that time. However, I have another.
okay, other.
Part of Kathleen's email from tonight was that she had had a discussion with Selectman Hollenbeck about the CDC, which is not having Winterfest and has a balance of funds from last year. And she suggests that maybe the Historical Commission use it towards an effort to increase participation with the Veterans Day Parade or something else that can benefit the town. So she said that she would bring this to the committee for their review and discussion and thanked her. She did share with her that in 2028, the anniversary is coming up and seed money is always helpful to have. And one idea could be that either the CDC keep that money in an account for that use and they plan an activity for 2028, or they move it to our line item and we have it as seed money for an event. So I think
Who'd that come from?
it came from Selectman Hollenbeck.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I think that maybe the CDC needs to have a discussion about what they would like to do. We could make suggestions, and I think both of these are viable, but knowing how we want to involve all departments of the town in the anniversary, I would really like to see them plan their own event and use that money to, that's my personal take on it. It would be more effective to the anniversary committee that way, if they did some kind of an event.
Okay,
And it doesn't have to be historical, but it could be something that they're vested in.
okay. New
But does
business?
anybody else have an opinion is what I think I need to ask for Kathleen's feedback.
Well, you know, maybe Kathleen will have input when she comes to the next meeting,
Okay.
okay? New business demolition sign-offs.
So,
Elliott Farms Barn?
right. The
Could
building, the Wilkie House is not on the inventory.
Oh,
And the barn, of course, was not on the inventory either, because Merrill Norton told me a long time ago that that barn and the Gambrel House on Main Street were moved from Bedford Street, probably somewhere in the area across from Savis's at one time. The issue with the barn is that they want to expand their business, and they want to do some kind of a refrigeration unit.
This is Elliott's barn?
Elliott's barn, that was the old Wilkie barn.
That-
And
That's not 202 Main Street. That's Rita's house, right? 202 Main
202?
Street.
Maybe I have the wrong number.
Well, we all know that it's the Elliott Farm now.
Yeah, I
It's
added
been
that on
discussed.
because I thought that was what was part of the email. But anyways, the structure of the barn, because of the fieldstone foundation and everything, the weight of this unit would not be supported by the structure. And so that's the reason to
it's a
request
beautiful
demolition.
barn, too.
So I have asked, what we've done in the past on things is to ask to be allowed to do a physical record, which means we go in and we do measurements of the barn and the structure, and we take photographs of all areas of the barn and particular items in the barn. And I believe that the idea is to reproduce a structure that looks similar to the barn in a newer thing, probably with a cement foundation and everything that would take care of this weight of this unit thing. So the building inspector is aware that we would want to do that prior to demolition.
Do they really have to demolish the whole thing? They can't dig out and put a foundation in
No,
with supports holding the thing up, or would the whole thing just?
they received
I
a
think
grant
this was
to
the
allow them
opinion
to
of the
do
building
this.
inspector,
Yeah,
you know, to make it safe.
He's already looked at the structure too.
so the whole thing has to come down.
I know, it's sad, because that means there's only,
It's sad.
means on Main Street now, there's the Bill Hall's grandmother's house barn on, which is really technically Old Main Street, and Windy Hill Farm
Windy
barn
Hill.
will be the only two barns left on Main Street.
Wow. And when was that house built, Wilkie's old house?
The Wilkie's house?
Yeah.
I don't know the date on that one.
Say that again?
I asked when the house was built, the Wilkie's house.
Okay, Wallace Wilkie was formerly a Lakeville selectman. His father lived on Crooked Lane. That's the house in back of the funeral parlor. And it's approximately 1920, the house was built in that era.
Yeah. Okay,
But the barn is older.
the barn's
It
older.
was very much
And
older.
from
yeah.
what Merrill Norton said, it was moved. And it was nothing in those days to move a structure because there were no telephone, electric
Well, it was
wires, and
open
things like
fields.
that. Open fields, and you had time, and it wasn't expensive. It was less expensive to move a structure like they moved all the schools all the time because
No wires.
there were no wires, and it saved you money, you didn't, and time, you didn't have to reconstruct something, so that was why those two things that he had said.
Okay, gifts,
We have no gifts tonight. Except we
meeting
did,
dates.
except I did not record in the minutes that Joan donated the 3 volumes of the history, which are now in the local history room.
Oh, good.
Lakeville Library.
Yep.
And we have meeting dates next. And what I've done on the meeting dates, when there is a school vacation week, I put two dates. And I did check about Thanksgiving, which is why we're meeting tonight. I didn't notice that before. February, those are the 2 choices, and April, there are 2 choices. So February 20th is when we're supposed to meet, and that is Presidential Week, and so that would be when schools are on vacation.
So should be the 13th then?
So we need a consensus?
I think so.
I'll have to
13th?
do that one on,
Phone.
on the phone.
We're talking about moving it to the 13th.
A week earlier.
Okay, I go to an archaeology meeting in Middleborough on the 2nd Wednesday of the month.
That is the second Wednesday.
It is the second Wednesday.
The 13th.
This is the same problem
On
we
the
had last
13th,
year.
I would normally be going to an archaeology meeting.
Yeah.
So the problem is if we met on the 27th, that's the Lakeville Historical Society meeting.
Right, so
So it's the only viable thing is, or we could meet on the 6th.
that's Open Space Committee. The only Wednesday nights that I have free are the 7th Wednesday.
The 7th Wednesday.
7th Wednesday, I'm free. Sorry.
There is no
Really?
Wednesday in a month.
So, Mr. Chairman, do you have a preference on another date?
I don't know what the program is going to be at the Middleborough Archaeology Group that night.
Are you an officer?
No, but if it was something really interesting, I might want to be there, something on, Native Americans or...
But perhaps then the vice chairman could be.
Perhaps she could be here.
Perhaps, yes, that would be good.
Okay, so are we going to suggest the 13th?
Sure.
Okay.
And this is, well, I'm going to be away in February and March. I'm going to be in Florida.
Me
Okay.
too.
Oh, you too.
Okay. Jerry, are you going to be in Florida January 16th?
Yes, I am.
You're gonna be in Florida on the 13th?
So we're going to be doing.
Yeah,
phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to be.
We'll do
Feb-
phones with you. Kathleen can set up so that we can do phones when you're away, so that you can at least participate.
January I'll be here.
You'll be here? Okay. So
Can
the next,
associate members make a quorum?
a quorum, yes.
So that's the only way we'll get one.
I know, because if Brian doesn't come, we won't have a quorum then. Maybe we can get both of our associates to come. April 10th or 17th, we would normally be the 17th, and I believe that is vacation week. So the 10th would be again,
Archaeology
Right.
meeting night.
so we might have, but by April, you will be here in April.
I will be here. The only thing is, I have an appointment that day in Boston, but that's at night, so that should be fine.
But as long as Jerry's not on a cruise somewhere.
I'm going to Portugal, but I don't have my new calendar with the dates of my Portugal trip in April.
Well, we still have a little bit of time.
Okay.
Okay, we might have to change that. The rest of the dates, I checked on November. This year, November, Thanksgiving is going to be, in 2019, is going to be the last Thursday, which is the fourth Thursday,
Yeah.
and it's going to be the 28th I don't know that it's ever been
That late.
that late before. I
Too
don't
early, then
remember.
too
Seventh
late.
years.
Exactly,
Well,
really.
it's because the week starts on a Friday, the month starts on a Friday, and that's why that's happening. So I
Yes.
wanted you to know I double-checked. And typically, we list a date, but we don't normally meet in December. And then the other things that I put on, we now know that Winterfest is not going to be taking place, so it's not May, is not. And Memorial Day would be May 27th. Archaeology Month would be a movie in October. The Arts and Music Festival should be October 5th this year,
That's late.
because it's usually the weekend before Columbus Day.
Okay.
And Columbus Day is a little bit later. And Veterans Day would be a Monday, November 11th. And if there is an All That Glitters, which took the place of Made in Lakeville, it would probably be December 7th. So those are just the informational dates based on what is happening this year.
So we can,
We need a motion to accept the meeting dates for,
Did we pick the 10th for April?
we took the 10th and we took the 13th of February.
The
okay,
10th.
motion to accept the meeting dates as amended.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries to accept the meeting dates for the Historical Commission for the coming year.
I have another thing regarding meeting dates. I move that the next meeting date not be December 19th, but be January 16th.
I second.
Aye.
Where am I?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Our next meeting date will be in January
16th,
16th.
2019. I don't know if there's any other business.
Okay, so then December's is off.
Off.
Okay. All right.
What is January 16th?
Our next,
That's the third Wednesday?
Yes, yep,
I think I
Okay.
okay. Let me see.
Anyone have any other?
16th.
Any other business?
Do you know what happens, when the ramp is, constructed? Our money from the townhouse account, we will just submit a bill, and that part of it will be paid, and then the rest of the money there is in the town budget to pay for it.
As far as we know, everything will be handled through the building inspector's office.
Okay.
So all of the transfers will go through that to that account, out of our account into that account,
Okay.
and the other accounts into that account for him to use for the
Okay.
price of the ramp.
So we can't
We will be
spend any
signing
money.
off on stuff transfers, but
Okay. All right.
on Memorial Day.
Okay, any other business? Motion to adjourn?
Second
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned.